What is up, guys? Logan here again with another video coming at you. We're going to talk about Palantir after earnings now. I know it's going to be a hot one. A lot of people have been asking questions about still, like I said in yesterday's video and Sunday's video. First, I want to start off by saying thank you guys for leaving a like on this video if you do, and then also consider subscribing to the channel if you want some more stock market information consistently from your boy. And also join the discords below. We have the free discord where you can chat with tons of people for free, get help with plays, and then also the premium one where I give my callouts with a couple other very experienced traders. So consider checking those out as well. But let's talk about Palantir. Man, what a crazy, crazy day. And I want to get into the earnings, the revenue, and kind of talk about my outlook now after earnings and why I waited to pick up shares, why I'm happy to wait till after earnings to now pick up shares soon, and I'll kind of let you guys know. But let's hop right into the technical analysis part of this. So if we look down here, one of the biggest bearish signals from my experience of trading is when you see the VWAP cross, and we're on the 5-minute. 5-minute, 5-day chart. I wanted to let you guys know that real quick. But when we see that the VWAP falls below the EMA, the 180-day EMA, that's a big bearish signal. And as you can see, we had tons of volume in the morning, and it was a straight sell fest. Just straight down. Found a little bit of support, and of course the VWAP band moves quite a bit in the morning, right? So it seems like we bounced off of it and then just consolidated. Bigger sell as we're trading underneath the VWAP, and then we had earnings, and right when we pumped into earnings, boom, went up to the VWAP, touched it, and then just proceeded to sell. And now not all hope is lost as we're currently trading. We're about an hour after market close, and we're currently trading at 14.10. Palantir is a pretty bright future, a lot of upside, and I want to get into the revenue and kind of what I see and why I think that the stock dropped today after hours with the earnings. And of course, we're not done, but compared to what was expected and what we saw yesterday, I will explain their price movement. So the firm reported a 52% revenue growth this quarter, which exceeded expectations of 46%. So they made an extra 10 million in revenue than was expected, and we still dropped after hours, right? And this is the first earnings that we've ever gotten to see from Palantir. I mean, of course, this company's been around for a while, but open to the public. This is the earnings. And here are the two things that I think led to this. Number one, I think there was a lot of hype going into it that caused more of the sell, and this could still rise after hours. And you guys could be like, Logan, you're wrong, you got it wrong. But I think this immediate sell-off was caused by the hype around it. So a lot of investors, seeing the earnings and saying, you know what, I saw the earnings. They weren't as crazy as I expected. I think the stock's still not valued correctly, so they pull out. But I think another huge thing, of course, is market conditions and also the hype around it. So if we looked at the IV on the contracts, they're around 200% still today going into earnings for the weekly ones. But even the ones for February were at about 100 to 120% implied volatility, which still has room for implied volatility crush. So I think a lot of people who maybe sold here were doing that. And I know a lot of them can't sell after hours. It really depends on your platform. But I think that's why we even saw the red in the morning was everyone saw that gap up and was like, you know what, I want to get out. And you see more people selling, which creates even more panic for a lot of investors because humans are emotional creatures. So that's one thing to keep in consideration too, right? And then proceed to see it fall. Now we are actually starting to gain a little bit of traction after hours, so let's see if we got some people coming to scoop some shares before we close. But I'm excited to see what we open at tomorrow, but I really think like we tapped down to 1336, right around here, saw a green candle. And that's where I would prefer to pick shares up, would be $13. Now I'm not mad if I get them at 14. Like I said, even if they went up after earnings, I still like these guys long term. But a better price would be awesome. That's one thing to keep in consideration too. But I want to talk about the hype, like I said, but also market conditions. Now we're currently in a time to where IWM was down 2% today. SPY was down 1.5%. They're looking better after hours. Now we can go check those out real quick, and then I'll hop back to Palantir. But yeah, even if you zoom in to after hours, I mean, all day we traded below the VWAP basically. Sold off down to 351.26. Now we're at 353.78 after hours, which is not that bad. Like, I think this is a really solid position. So let's go back to Palantir, but I just wanted to point that out too as we were talking. And now we're back down to 1409. But yeah, it zoomed in a little bit. But yeah, right off the bat, all those sells just showed weakness, and it's really just market conditions right now. Banks were down today. DPST was even down to 80 again, and then ended the day at 83. But they were at 100 2 days ago. So we're just have market conditions right now kind of playing with us. A lot of the indexes moved pretty decent today, like 1.5%. It wasn't very flat. It's just a lot of the volume came immediately in the morning within like 10 minutes. And then just the trend started trading sideways. And we got more volume in the afternoon, but of course this is people like, do we play earnings? Do we not? So that's just the other thing I wanted to talk about too. And now here's my outlook on buying shares. I want to buy some tomorrow. If we open up below $14, I'm going to pick up shares. If we open above, so like let's say we open around 15, maybe we have a nice gap up overnight, I'll wait to buy shares, and I'll wait until next week, right? Just so that the earnings hype can kind of die down and I can just kind of slowly slither in the stock, grab it, and try to make a nice return on it. So that's kind of my plan, is we still have a lot of volatility even after hours on these earnings, but I love this stock. As I've talked about, headquartered right here in Denver. There's a lot of cool things with this stock too to look forward to. I mean, all their deals, like I stated yesterday, 46% of their clients is like government, like the US, through the US government. So they have a lot of potential upside, like I talked about. And the technical analysis was still pretty solid today on these guys. I mean, of course, I'm not entering any plays under the VWAP or the EMA, not even puts, because even though it's really bearish, there's so much consolidation. You know, and we got earnings after hours. This thing could have really went both ways today. So I'm just really curious to see what happens. But even right now, I mean, under 14, even if we open here, 13.50, 13, like I'm picking up shares 100%. If we're under $13 at open, I'm going to scoop some shares. So let's see what we got going. I'm just really happy with Palantir in general. I just love how we got to see how strong they really can be, hitting a high of 1706. So that you guys know that people are confident in them, and this is all just earnings hype and market conditions. So once we kind of get through this little squeeze, Square's dealing with the same thing. I talked about it yesterday. Then we can hop in once we get back above the EMA, once we get back above the VWAP, and start seeing bullish again. See how nice that is when it's hanging out above the 180-day EMA? Just straight to the sky. And even when it was under it, kind of consolidated around it, you know? So you got to watch for that. When it comes to making plays, you're not rushing into things and then looking at your investment that's all of a sudden down like 20%. So I just want to touch on that again, but I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys. It really means a ton. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Check out the links below. Tons of awesome ones. So thank you guys again, and I will see you soon.